we're going to start off with a back routine. You've seen a lot of the basic stroke, so I'm just going to go through the back routine, and then when we get to the, then we're going to do the arms and the hands. First, I'm going to do compressions like I did before. We discussed that in a previous video. Draping, just like we talked about before. Again. Cream, start out with a heart effleurage. Go to one side. Okay, so starting at effleurage again, sitting against the table, or leaning against the table, starting at effleurage, starting to warm the back up. Changing the strokes, alternating hands. We just did pressure, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I like to do ironing after a little bit of again, all the techniques we've covered in the previous video. Sometimes what I like to do is I use the ulna on the around the limb of the groove. Sometimes I'll turn and use the meaty part of my forearm and work along the back. And what I do is I hold and get a kind of a myofascial stretch. Come across the back. So I turn my arm this way so that my bone is not scraping on any of her bone. So I'm getting the meaty part of my arm, stretching that way. I just like to do that. It's just another way to warm it up. I like to strip right through the muscle. So when I generally massage, I'll warm up the whole back, work up in a particular area here, and work along the spine, get in the QL area, and then work back up. You don't have to do it exactly like that, but you can. You just want to do it so that there's a flow to it or a rhythm, something that makes sense so it doesn't seem like you're all over the place. So I'm doing petrissage here, changing my stance up a bit. Feeling for knots. If I come across a knot, just do a little cross fiber friction. circular friction. You do circular effleurage around the scapula. Now, I like to do crossover friction along the lamina groove where we just ironed, get a little bit deeper, some of those deeper muscles, the transspinals and the erector spinae group. Get all that in there. Basically what I'm doing is just, I'm coming in at about a 45-degree angle and I'm moving in and out. I saw another technique that I really liked from Massage Nerd. His website, on his Facebook page, YouTube page, where you take two fingers, do an effleurage right along the each side of the spine of the lamina groove, putting pressure down on the fingers. Come across this way. And again, about 2 or 3 times. I like 3. Lately I've been coming across to do the other side. So when I'm working across here, all these muscles along the spinals, right through here, I like to stretch them out, pull them away from the spine. So again, I'm always working where my fingers and my hands are in my center, pushing away when I'm working right in front. I'm in the horse stance when I'm gliding, right back in the archer stance. A little more cream. Ocean waves. Some petrissage right along the lats. I like to come along on the medial border of the scapula and kind of going through here. There's a lot of muscle attachment sites like the rhomboids, the traps, all that stuff kind of fit in through here. You can get a little bit more advanced by picking up the spine or manipulating the spine. I like to do that too. We'll save that for another day. Again, you come across something, you can do some cross fiber friction. And I like to come back. So I've worked this part, come along here. I usually like to work the QL. For that, I usually start off warming it up by doing a soft fist. And that's all that is like you're making a fist and you relax your fingers so that your hand fits around the client's body. And usually it fits in there pretty nice. This just depends. Everybody's between the iliac spine or the crest right through here into the 12th rib. Sometimes there's a good gap, sometimes there's not. You can adjust your fist accordingly. That's the reason why I like the soft fist, because if you tighten your fist up, it generally pushes down on them. If you loosen your fist, it makes you fit around their body. I prefer that. I'll come around and I'll check to see. Now the whole time I'm doing this, you'll notice, particularly with the soft fist, when I'm doing that, my wrist is in line. So my arm down with the pressure again, my wrist is in line with my arm. My wrist isn't out of joint, so I'm not turning my wrist this way. I'm not turning my wrist this way. Anytime you turn your wrist or you push, when you drag, pressure is going in a different direction. So if you push pressure here, it's like a weight's dragging your hand that way. So it'd be like tying your hand around a weight and dragging it. And most people can't hold a weight that way. So it's trying to you have to line everything up. Boxers have to do this all the time because if boxers hit something and it's out of line, so they need these two knuckles in line with these two bones, because if it's not in line, it breaks their fist. Well, it won't break your fist, but at the same time, it will cause a repetitive stress injury by not having everything in mind. So as best you can. And like I said, you're coming around here. If it needs extra work, sometimes I'll come across a little bit more, doing some circular work. Or sometimes I like to take right along, because the QL runs right through here, and that QL runs along the iliac crest, comes up along the sides of the spine, and it goes to that 12th rib. And I like to trace along that to see if they need any work. Now, she doesn't need that much work on that. Feels like she's got something else going on besides the QL, but we can check. I like to check on everybody. People that tend to sit a lot, they tend to have an issue with that. So when you're massaging, you have to really watch your time, because you only have sometimes 50 minutes to do a massage. So you can't spend a lot of time doing one thing or another. So while I have a lot more repertoire of techniques to work on the back, you have to kind of meet and judge what their needs are and what they have, to make sure you get all the places they need. So if they need attention in somewhere else, you want to spend attention there, so you don't have a tremendous amount of time to work the entire back. So you have to judge your time and see what techniques you can use. See what techniques you have in your toolbox to see what you can use in the time that's allotted. That's always a big thing. My favorite type of massages are the 90-minute massages. So I have 90 minutes in spas. It's 80 minutes hands-on. Or when I go and work on somebody at their houses on a mobile massage, it's actually 90 minutes. But that's the time frame I prefer, because I feel like I can get a good full body massage and really get some detail work in and help the client out. Not that 50 minutes aren't great. I've seen a lot of people do a great job with 50 minutes. It's just that's my personal preference. All right, so with my flow of the body, I generally work one whole side of the body, then come down the arm, then I work the other side of the body, and then the arm. So that's my personal preference. You don't have to. You can work one side of the back, the other side of the back. You can do the entire back, then the arms. It's just up to you. You just want to make it so that you want to make it so there's a natural flow to your massage. Everything feels like it's supposed to be. You never want to make it feel like you start here, then go to here, then come over here. Shouldn't feel like you're zigzagging around for no reason whatsoever.